Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. Welcome one more time to another session of Islam and Muslims. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important surah of the Quran, yet it's one of the shortest of these surah. The Quran, as we have mentioned once before, is divided into 114 surah, which the word surah is the plural of the Arabic word surah, which can be merely translated as chapter or part. And these surah are sorted or ordered in a descending order, starting with the longest surah at the very beginning of the Quran and ending with the shortest surah close to the end. The Quran has 114 surah. And the one that we're going to talk about today is the surah number 112. As you can see, it's very close to the end of the Quran. Yet, the meanings in this surah are forming a very important part of Islam. In fact, the surah by itself is about 2.5 to 3 lines. That's all. Yet the scholars of the Quran consider it as 1/3 of the Quran. What is the reason for that? As we mentioned once before, Quran is divided internally into 3 parts. 1/3 of the Quran, about 1/3 of the Quran talks about faith. Who is the Lord to be worshipped? How should He be worshipped? And so on and so forth. The second third talks about history of the previous nations, different prophets and messengers. And the third part talks about law and regulations, regulating the lives of the Muslims among themselves and dealing with other societies surrounding them under different circumstances and conditions. This particular surah is talking primarily about faith, about Allah, about the Lord that we worship. I'm going to recite the surah first and then try to translate the meanings of the ayat or lines in this surah, and then we're going to talk about some of the shades of the surah and its importance. The surah starts as follows. The name of the surah is Surah Al-Ikhlas, which can be translated as sincerity. And it starts as follows. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. This is the surah by itself. And the surah starts with a command from the Lord, from God, Allah, to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, instructing him, say or declare or announce that Allah is one. Your Lord is one, unique. Allahu Samad. Your Lord is self-sustaining, does not need anyone, does not rely upon anyone. Lam yalid, He was not begotten, He was not born. Walam yulad, He did not beget and He was not begotten. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٍ, and there's no similar, there's no equal to Him. This is the mere translation of the meaning of the surah. Again, the surah talks about who is the Lord to be worshipped. And it's very important for anyone who wants to get closer to the Creator to know what he or she is worshipping. Failure to recognize the Creator might lead someone to worship something that does not have any value. One of the problems of the pagans in Arabia before Islam is that they were worshipping idols made of rocks, wood, or other materials that they carved themselves. They had in their own hearts and their own minds the idea that there's got to be a supreme being that guides, that directs and manages the whole universe. And therefore you will find in the Quran the question that was asked to these non-believers. When you ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they would say Allah. So they know there's one supreme being, the Creator, but their ideology was that we are worshipping these idols as a go-between, as a partners to this Creator. So this surah comes to correct this misunderstanding and this wrong dogma by saying that declare very clearly, without any ambiguity, that your Lord is one. It is not a group of creators. It is not a committee. He does not have any partners. And when we look at the belief of the Muslims, understanding that the Lord is one, God is one, what are the implications of this understanding? Whenever they ask, they do not ask anyone but Allah, the Lord, the Creator. Whenever they hope, they have only their hopes in the Lord, the Creator. Whenever they fear, their fears are from the Lord, the Creator. When they seek protection, they can seek it only from the Lord, the Creator. He is the source of everything, and He is the controller of everything, and He can decide whatever He wants, and whatever He decides, no one can override. When we look in the other faiths, we find some differences, major differences between Islam and other religions. In Christianity, the idea of trilogy is rejected. Through this ayah, through this first line, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Ahad means one or unique. It is not three in one or one in three. It is just one, who did not have anything before Him and will not have anything after Him. He is eternal and will be eternal. He is ever living. He was never born. He will never die. He does not need any sleep or any rest. He is always watching, managing, controlling, deciding, arranging things. Allahu Samad, the second ayah in this surah. Allah as-Samad. And Samad is an Arabic word that means solid, not hollow. And it also means self-sufficient. And it also means the one that is sought for hardships. The one whose help is needed in cases of hardship. The one that no one can do without. All of these are shades of the word as-Samad. And again, this reminds every believer that whenever you are in a case of distress, there's only one that you should ask. The one that can do anything. The one that can change everything. The one that has all the powers. And if you go anywhere else, you're going to the wrong destination. Lam yalid. He did not beget. He does not have any children. He does not have any wife. He does not have any partner. And again, this is a response to the trilogy and to the claims of the Israelites when they claimed that Ezra, Uzair, one of the prophets, is the son of the God, of the Lord. So Allah negates all of these false claims. He did not beget. He does not need any son. He does not need any successor. He did not take any wife. We as Muslims believe in the miraculous conception and birth of Jesus Christ, peace be upon Him. We believe that He was born to the Virgin Mary, may Allah be pleased with her, through a miracle. Allah commanded her to become pregnant, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Jesus, peace be upon Him. So, she was not the wife of God, and Jesus, peace be upon Him, is a respected, beloved, and followed prophet and messenger, and not the Son of God.